Hello friend, this is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com. Today I want to talk to you about one of the chapters in my book, Co-Creators with God. Chapter 11 is titled Imitating God. And in that I deal with a number of verses, starting with Ephesians chapter 5 verse 1, how we are to be imitators or followers of God as dear children. But I want you to really meditate and think about that. So often people are going through life and their meditations, the thoughts of their heart, is about problems, it's about circumstances in the world, politics, sports, entertainment, all this nonsense and things that is not helping them. It could be about conflicts, about people they don't like even. They could be thinking about and meditating on negative situations that happened to them years ago. And actually the amount of time doesn't matter. Even if it's something that happened yesterday, why are you meditating on that? The only time that should be spent on that should be to resolve the situation, to not put yourself in that position again, and that's it. Don't keep going back to it. And there are people who will go back into that negative event and relive it and force themselves through that again, victimize themselves again, just through their own minds. But I want you to meditate on this, being an imitator of God. And as Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5 verse 48, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. That's a high standard. But if you meditated on that and you thought as you're acting and interacting with people and doing your work and doing the things you do each day, if you had that at the forefront of your mind, you were thinking about being perfect like your Father in heaven is perfect, doing things like He would do, being an imitator of God, being a follower of Him, as a child would follow their parents and imitate them and do the things they do. When you do that and you have that mindset, first thing, all these things that people talk about, oh, you can't help but sin every day in thought, word, or deed. No, that's a lie. You have accepted that lie as a truth, and so consequently, you sin every day in thought, word, and deed. But Jesus said, and He wasn't setting some high standard that's unattainable. He said, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. That's the ideal. And that's what you should be focused on. Because when you do that, you're not seeing limitation. When you do that, you're not seeing lack. When you do that, you're not seeing negativity. You're seeing the good. You're seeing the abundance. You're seeing the limitlessness that there is in God. And that ever-expanding universe can't contain Him. And yet in Him you live and move and have your being. So I want you to really meditate on that. When you start thinking about something negative, somebody cuts you off in traffic, you have some problems with a coworker or your spouse or your kids or something, I want you to stop and instead of thinking about that stuff, which isn't helping you at all, it's not solving the problem. You may tell yourself that and lie to yourself. I got to think about this. How am I going to solve this? No, you're not. You just want to meditate and live and ferment in that negativity. And you have to make sure you understand that you see what's going on and you get away from that. That you don't allow your subconscious mind to take you down those paths to constantly be focusing on negativity. Instead, you revert. Every time that happens, you go back to the thought of being perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Imitating God. What would God think about this situation? How would God handle this? And I'm going to imitate Him. I'm going to do the good, the perfect, the kind, the just, the things that are good report, the things that are lovely. Those are the things I'm going to think about. Those are the things I'm going to do. My friend, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. And I encourage you today to get my book, Co-Creators with God, because I deal with so many issues in there that is never touched in any churches today. It's never touched in any kind of situation today. People don't talk about these things, and they think that basically we live in a lack and limitation world, that God is somehow sending these trials and tribulations to harm you, and you need to suffer a certain amount, that way you can somehow prove yourself, and all these things which simply are not true. God wants to partner with you. He wants you to be like Him. And Jesus even commanded for you to be like Him. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.